Christian, have you followed the Elizabeth Holmes debacle?
No, what happened?
Do you know who Elizabeth Holmes is?
Of course, Theranos
Yeah.
founder.
Well, yeah, I didn't know too much about it actually until recently, so I went down a little rabbit hole of like learning about it. And if anyone's in my shoes, most people probably already know who she is, but if not, real quick, she started a company called Theranos, which was aiming to get blood testing down. You would only need a drop of blood to, do all these, swath of tests instead of like normally they have to do an IV and like get a lot of blood and stuff like that. She wanted to, be like the Steve Jobs and like condense everything to the little iPod, right? And she wanted to condense blood testing to just a little drop. And it turns out like this whole time she's, like it's there's absolutely no product, like it's just fake. And she, got a couple investments here, a couple investments there, all the way until it was pretty much just fully capital backed, and like they raised like a 9 billion with a B dollar valuation at the height or at the zenith of their valuation. And turns out, little by little the web of lies started getting uncovered, and they ended up finding out the whole thing was a fraud. And but it's just funny because she's literally like faking this annoying deep voice like in all of the interviews, and I'm just like, this just sounds weird, it sounds fake. And I'm just like, the actual audacity to like fake this like really weird voice, like, and everyone just has to like accept it and like just sit there and not like laugh under their breath or something. And she's like, yeah, so and like I just don't get it. But yeah, so I just followed that and I'm like, dude, it's just like it's mind blowing how she like did this like cheesy fake voice and everyone believed it. And like there's absolutely no like proof that they have anything at all going on there. And they somehow were able to raise $9 billion
Were you
dollars.
able, did you ever hear her talking without the voice?
Yeah.
And how different is it?
It's different. It's like the same voice, but like a couple octaves, higher or whatever the case is. I don't know the right music terminology, but yeah, it's just like a normal female voice pretty much. I mean, it's not high pitched, but it's just kind of normal sounding.
Yeah.
And yeah,
So if
she's
I'm
like,
doing an impression, it was like her normal voice was, yeah, like you said, a normal female voice. And then she would kind of go in this like, so at
yeah,
Theranos,
yeah,
we are trying to really build the Edison, which can run over 200 blood tests with just a tiny pinprick of blood. And we're changing the world with this technology. We're going to make it so that you can go into any Walgreens or CVS and get a full blood panel done with just a pinprick of blood from your thumb.
yeah,
She's like, health is at the tip of your finger, literally. She's like,
yeah.
good health is at the tip of your fingers.
It's just
Anyway,
so it's so
so
corny, like looking back
she
at
would
it.
wear the
And
Steve Jobs
yeah,
turtleneck.
wearing the Steve Jobs turtleneck, trying to act. She's literally like an actress. Like she just gets a kick out of like lying and being an actress. Like it's actually insane and like really funny and corny to look back on. Um, but I just honestly, the main losers are the investors, So,
Well,
um,
I'm gonna defend her a little bit. I'm gonna defend her
okay,
a little bit. So, um, with Theranos, okay, yes, she definitely got over her ski tips and raised way more money at a valuation that was way too big for where they were. In addition to the fact that they were shipping a product that actually did not do what it says, what they market it to be able to do. And yes, they lied to investors. So, but here is what happened. They were trying to build a product. They did actually produce a machine that was able to run a very small battery of tests. I think they were able to get up to like 9 different tests with, a tiny pinprick of blood. Um,
mm,
and the problem was these machines would regularly break. Inside, it was a really complicated system of like plungers and tubes, and it was just super messy and very infeasible to do with the amount of blood that they were actually collecting. So these Edison machines, while they did produce them, they ended up actually just like farming out the actual testing. So what they would do is like somebody would go into a Walgreens and they would give their blood, but the Edison machine actually could not do 200 tests. I think it only had the capability of doing like 9 tests, and it could really only do one test at a time. So it
Mm,
could not do what it said they could do. What they would end up doing is like for the other 291 tests, or what is it, 191 tests that they couldn't do in the machine, they would actually just send it back to their headquarters, and they had these large, labs for actually doing proper testing um, of the blood sample. So they were technically providing the product, but yeah, did not do what it said it would do, and they totally lied to investors. But they were trying. They just got way ahead of themselves in terms of, building this product. And to be honest, like I think, there's so many companies that are like that, where like they have to raise money on the idea, on the excitement of the idea, and then hope that eventually the
hmm.
technology comes around.
Yeah.
But I think that this one was a strange case where she was able to raise money from people that were not venture capitalists. Like they were like, I think Steven Spielberg was an investor. They got investment from like all of these non VCs basically. I think they probably also raised money from regular VCs too, but basically nobody did real due diligence. And then once they had all this money behind them, the big VCs were like, okay, well, look, all this money you've raised, clearly I trust that you have the technology to do this, even though it sounds dubious. And so it was like this proxy due diligence where, oh, well, if you guys raised $2 billion already, you must have the tech. Somebody else must have done the due diligence before me. And so therefore I'm going to invest. So, yeah, she should have slowed the train down, but she didn't. And that was on her. So yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. I think that's a pretty you kind of took a step back there and like almost, because I think the thing is, and this is for a lot of people, a lot of people have the ambition to make money. Like sure, everyone wants to make a lot of money and like everyone has the Maserati on their like, vision board and they want to freaking do that and do this, but like not everyone can do that. Like you have to have the chops. You have to actually earn your stripes, and that's like the crux of it. I think, you know, yeah, I mean, and so I think that's just kind of what we're getting at here. And like, I mean, even for you guys, like just I know you guys want to go out there and market and sell like crazy, but like make sure you have the chops to like, have a great product too and deliver on something. Like it's you really have to have both. Like you gotta walk the walk and talk the talk, because in my opinion, if you have like something great and you just suck at marketing and you like can't like put yourself out there, I've had this problem where like I just like I'm too lazy to like go out and market and like promote myself. And then at the same time be building something great on the back end to deliver to customers. So you have to do both. You have to really get your word out there, but also have something actually real on the back end. And you got to make sure that your chops, actually are there with your Maserati Vision whiteboard. So
Yeah, like I'll give
um,
you an example, right? Elon Musk, Tesla, and SpaceX, right? Both of these companies, when he was raising money for them, he wasn't going out and saying, "We have currently mass produced this vehicle. We know how to scale it out. Um, it's amazing, and you should invest in it." Let's go with SpaceX. That's an easier one. They hadn't built a rocket when they first raised money. They raised money on the idea of building a rocket, and it was like, "Look, I'm Elon Musk. I'm smart. I can figure this out with my team. We've got great people on this. We're going to figure out how to build a rocket. You got to invest in me. Trust me." That's literally what it was. That was the pitch. Um, Now, obviously, that wasn't the exact pitch, but my point is that he wasn't raising money and saying, "We have a
yeah.
product, it's built, it functions. We just need you to invest in it so that we can get it out into the market." That was not what his
Hmm.
pitch was, right? So
Yeah.
I think there is there's the obvious sort of ethical concern of telling your investors that we have produced the technology, it is working, and now we're just, you know, we're raising money to get it out into the marketplace. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely a ethical breach, in my
Yeah.
opinion. On her. There,
Yeah.
there are countless other examples where people raise money on the idea of something, and yeah, it's a bet. It's a bet that you'll figure it out. Like D Wave. Do you know? Have you heard of D Wave, Alex?
I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
D-Wave is a company that's been around since like the 1990s. They've been trying to produce a quantum computer for that, like a usable quantum computer that has real world applications for 20 plus years now. Like 25 years they've been working on this, and they've still not been able to do it. And nobody has. But when they were raising money, they never said, "Oh, we have a quantum computer that we've built. invest in us. That was never their thing, right? So there's the yeah, don't lie. That's the simple answer. Don't lie. Also, quick fact
Exactly.
check on myself. Um, Theranos raised $700 million over its lifespan, um, and they raised money initially from Tim Draper, who's a prominent venture capitalist, and in fact, um, Tim Draper was probably the reason that a whole bunch of other people decided to pile in money as well. Also,
Mm,
Larry Ellison. I know they raised a ton of money from Rupert Murdoch and the Waltons, and then Betsy DeVos, who is the former U.S. Education Secretary, and her family. So they basically, I think they raised a little bit of money from VCs, and then they raised a ton of money from people that are not technical. And so that was how they were able to raise a bunch of money, was because they
mm.
raised money from people that were not technical.
Yeah.
So
Yep. 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 And like you said, the crux of it is just don't lie, with your with your pitch. You
yep.
gotta be realistic. So